Welcome to another episode of Behind the Music. I'm your host, Latoya L, and I'm so happy to have you here. Happy Tuesday! You know what? I'm really seriously considering bringing back the sound effect. Only because sometimes when I say welcome back to Behind the Music, it just doesn't feel right holding back that sound effect. So if you're with me, if you're an OG of this podcast and you are with me with this sound effect, I'm gonna need you to comment the horn emoji. So I know for sure that we need to bring it back. Okay? Okay. Well, listen, y'all. I am so excited for today's episode. We have a traditional Indigenous artist in the house. And honestly, I'm so excited to dive into this conversation, talk about the importance of this Indigenous music, the impact Joel Wood is having in the scene across Canada. And yeah, we're just gonna dive into his artist journey as well. So I'm really excited about all the things that this episode is going to bring to y'all. Let's get into this conversation. So for those that don't know, Joel Wood is a celebrated traditional Indigenous artist from Masquerchiefs, Alberta, whose music honors the richness of his Cree heritage. Singing in the Cree language, as you guys probably got a taste of in the background, okay? Singing in the Cree language, Joel's work serves as both a cultural bridge and powerful call to action, encouraging the revitalization of Indigenous traditions through songs. With 3 Juno nominations, including a Juno win, Joel's contribution to the Canadian music landscape have been recognized for their authenticity, emotional depth, and cultural significance. As a passionate advocate for the preservation of Indigenous language and traditions, Joel's music speaks directly to the heart of his community. His songs are infused with stories, teachings, and wisdom passed down through generations, offering a modern voice to traditional sounds. Through his music, he aims to inspire the youth within First Nation communities, encouraging them to connect with their roots, embrace their identity, and carry forward the legacy of their ancestors. So I'm gonna need y'all to drop your favorite emoji as we welcome Joel Wood into this live. Hello?
Hi,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. I'm so excited to have you on. Welcome to the show.
That was cool. I turned on your live and I could hear my music playing.
Yes, that's what we do. We love to amplify the music of our artists, all the guests that are on here, but most importantly, like artists from across Canada. So, of course, I had to have your music on. So let's hop into this. My first question for you is, which instrument do you like the most and why? Is it your vocals, your vocal instrument? Is it the flute? Is it drums? Or is it something else that you play?
That's a really good question. Can be a kind of tricky question as well.
Yeah.
Um, I I love to sing. I've always loved to sing. But with that being said, our drum is really it's how can I say this? It's a really powerful instrument that is very much alive, like you and I. Our drums are sacred, and without the drum, there wouldn't be no singing or dancing.
So it's the drum. Okay. Okay. Fascinating. Awesome. So what would you say is your earliest memory playing the drum?
One of my earliest memories. You may or may not know that I'm part of a powwow round dance drum group called Northern Cree.
Yeah.
Northern Cree has been around since 1982. I was born in 88, so I was kind of just like born into Northern Cree, I guess.
Wow.
Um, I remember some of my earliest memories. My mom would have my playpen set up right next to the drum while we're at a powwow, and I'd be watching all the men jam, and in between songs when they weren't singing, I'd get my shot to go and sit around the drum and bang on the drum, and that's probably one of my earliest memories of being around the drum, banging on the drum, and yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So then you, at a very early age, you already had that spiritual connection to the drum, and you knew the symbolism and the power of a drum at a very early age.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as the years went on, I started to gain more knowledge on the drum, the proper protocols of the drum area, being a singer, being a traditional singer, and yeah. But I was born right into it, and it's been a part of my life, my entire life.
Okay. So when was that moment where you're like, I want to use music as a vehicle to drive this message of like healing, resilience, and pride?
I I officially joined Northern Cree in 1997. I think I was about 9 years old. Um, and from that point on, I was just so proud, just so happy to be a part of something, and being on the road all the time and getting to um, travel away from the res, travel away from the community, go and travel really, and like a lot of people, and it's it might be like this in a lot of communities that it takes a lot to travel. It can be expensive, but being part of a drum group and having a family like Northern Cree, that it kind of opened up opportunities and doors to travel far and wide and get to experience a lot of really cool things. And it was probably about during the pandemic, when we were all at home, we didn't really have anything to do. I started to experiment being a soloist because I never really sang in front of anybody at all by myself. I was always part of the drum group. I always sang with the drum group, and it was actually my wife. My wife is a comedian, by the way. Her name's Tanya Jo Hall, and she would go live all the time during the pandemic, and every once in a while she'd invite me. She'd say, "Come sing a song for them. They want to hear you." And I feel like, no way, no way, so the first couple goes, I kind of just sang from off camera, and eventually just kind of joined in on her lives, and then we created this show. It was on Facebook, but we did it every day during the pandemic, and we call it Coffee and Stories with Auntie and Sing Along and Smudge with Uncle, and it was a lot of fun. And I think from then on, I was really starting to create momentum with being more confident in my singing abilities as a soloist. And I noticed that there were younger people who were reaching out to me, asking me, how does this song go? How does that song go? What does this song mean? And then I had other people reaching out to me saying, when you sing, it makes me feel so good, and it kind of hit me like I actually have a purpose. Like I love to sing. I've always loved to sing, but it's reaching people now in a good way, and I think it's always reached people in a good way. But just becoming branching off and experimenting as a soloist, it really kind of hit me like this is what I'm gonna do.
Wow. Okay, that's incredible. First of all, the fact that you're able to travel around, but then the fact that your wife sparked this journey, this entire journey. She helped you kind of like gain your confidence as an artist, and then together you guys were able to find so much community and create some impact during the pandemic. Like that's incredible.
Yeah, she's incredible, and I always have to give her props because she's just always so supportive in everything I do.
Ah, shout out to the wife. We love that. Oh man, that's amazing. Okay, so it really wasn't until the pandemic where you're like, not only do people want to hear my gift, but it's impacting folks.
Yeah, yeah, exactly that. Actually seeing that it's becoming impactful on a lot of people in a good way. And that everything that I've been taught in my entire life is singing is healing. And that was actually the name of my very first album, Singing is Healing. And, to use it in a good way. And that if you're gonna, as a traditional singer, if you're gonna consider yourself a singer, then to use it in a good way and
Yes.
sing, provide that singing, that warmth, that comfort whenever called upon.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's amazing. Okay, so since you started your journey as a soloist, how do you use your connection to earth, land, or spirituality as a compass for your own artistry?
I think that I always like to say, and I don't know if this goes along with your question, but this is kind of like where my answer is going.
Yeah.
Um, our music, our traditional music, it's
Yeah.
very very powerful, very healing. For first time listeners, I've heard it a lot of times over and over that first time listeners, when they hear it, it's like they always express that I don't know what it is, but it just hit me. It feels so good when I hear it. I don't know if it's the drums or if it's the singing or I don't know what it is, but go back to this and say, our music, our traditional music, our power music, round dance music, prayer songs, the flute, whatever other traditional style singing is out there.
Yeah.
Um, it's the original music of this land, known as well, we call it Turtle Island, um, North America, Canada, United States. So, it's the original music of this land, and all the instruments that we use, our drums, we hand make our drums, our flutes, and our rattles. Any other traditional art, instruments out there, we handcraft them, and those instruments, they didn't arrive to this land by boat. It was they were already here. This music originated here on this land, and it's powerful. It really is.
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. So I have a question about that though. So in Western science, right, sometimes they say that frequencies, or it's believed that frequencies support healing that stimulate specific chakras in the body. When it
Mhm.
comes to traditional indigenous music, is there a similar interpretation and in the way that it's composed and written?
Well, um, that's interesting because I've been seeing a lot of things with um, I guess you can call them, or they're calling themselves healers, and they're starting to use drums as the whole chakra and frequencies and all that. And the drums are very powerful. If you take care of your drum, it's an instrument that can create a lot of good things, goodness, and a lot of the lyrics in the songs. They create the power too, is what my belief is. And don't it's like I want to say, don't quote me on any of this, because anywhere you go across Indian country, the stories are going to be different. They might be told, the stories might be told differently, but I think and feel that we all have the same purpose when it comes to sharing songs and singing and healing and all that. But definitely the lyrics, when sung in the language, is a whole lot more powerful.
Mhm. And are there like common lines or phrases that are used within like traditional indigenous music that's like a common phrase that you would frequently hear?
Growing up, I heard a lot of the same a lot of the same lyrics and a lot of the powwow songs around my area.
Yeah.
Um, which was cool. It was basically, being at a powwow, you'd hear, certain lyrics, phrases about, getting the dancers, telling the dancers to get up and dance,
Yeah.
whatever, just kind of like basic things. Um, but also composed with a different. There's a ton of song makers, song composers throughout Indian country, and a lot of them, they all have their own style, and It's really it's really really magical, really, when a song composer makes something that's brand new.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Amazing. Amazing. I've been to a powwow, so I have experienced that. But like, I was just wondering because like, obviously, I don't speak Cree. Well, I don't know if that's obvious, but I don't speak Cree, so I don't understand the words. But I am Christian, and so like sometimes within Christian music, you'll hear like a hymn that's repeated in like a different song, whether it's an older, like an early 2000s songs or more modern song. So I was just wondering if there was like a similarity there, but yeah, it's good to learn these things.
Yeah, so I guess like the song structure for powwow songs is, it's a phrase, and then you'll sing it one verse through, and then you'll sing it a second verse through, and then you'll have the lead again, like a solo, I guess you would call it, but we would refer to it as a lead. And then after the lead, the whole group would join in and re-sing that lead, and then you go into the phrase again, which would be the first verse. And then after that first verse is done, you would repeat it and say the same thing over in the seconds. So you'd have four leads, and typically you have four leads per song, so eight verses.
Yeah, okay. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so kind of flipping the topic to your Juno win. You've been nominated 3 times, but you finally got your win in 2024 for Traditional Indigenous Artist of the Year. Can you take us back to that moment when you heard your name? What was that like? What were you feeling?
It was really super, like, I'm sitting back in my chair right here, like right now, and that's how I felt. The first couple times that I went, it was exciting, really exciting. I'm not gonna just play it off and say, yeah, it was kind of exciting. Just being there for the third time, I kind of felt like I knew the ropes. Kind of just sit back, enjoy the moment, take it in. Try to experience everything that's surrounding me, and just enjoying the food really. And then the traditional indigenous category came up, and I seen they went through the nominees, and seen my name go up there, and then they were going for to announce the winner, and they read my name, and I seen my album cover or picture of my come up on that screen, and I was like, what? No way. I was so happy. It was almost like I went into autopilot, jumped up in joy, hugged my wife, and I told her, you got to come with me. So we started walking up there, and I don't know what happened. I just felt like dancing. I heard my music playing in the building, and I was like, I'm gonna dance. So I started, and you know, uh, dancing, everything after that, and that was kind of a blur. It was only in that moment, I don't even remember what I said on stage. I got off stage and I asked my wife, I was like, what did I say? Was it good? And she told me it was really good. She was reassuring, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even remember what I said.
It was one of those things where you were just like hyper present. No, that's amazing. That's amazing. And congratulations again. Like phenomenal.
Thank you.
Um, how did you celebrate? Like when you went home, when the Junos were over, did you do another like hurrah with the family?
I've been down in I guess North Dakota now, so quite a ways from my family. So I didn't really get to celebrate with them, but we talked on the phone, and a lot of people reached out, and it was the people who are closest to me which mattered the most, and I thought that was really kind of everybody to reach out. What's really super funny, and I don't know if it's funny, but I always say that when I have a good story, or I feel like I have a good story. So won the Juno. Um, we were leaving the building, and we were being invited to go here, there, to go join everybody else. And my wife and I were so pumped, so ready to just check it out, go check out the town, and got into our Uber. We went back to our Airbnb, and got off at our Airbnb, and I realized I lost my phone, and I left my phone in the in the Uber, so I had no way of contacting anybody, and it kind of just night ruined, kind of ruined the night for myself.
Wait, did you ever get your phone back
I got it back the next day.
though? Okay.
It was tough. It's a long story, really super long story.
No, it's I that's kind of like one of my worst fears when it comes to Ubers, especially when it comes to your phone, because like the contact to the Uber is on your phone. So if you leave it in the car, like you just have to hope that the person that's driving cares. So you know? Yeah. Well, at least you were able to get your phone back.
Yeah.
um, you got a Juno too, so like you can't be. It ended up working all out in your favor.
It was bittersweet. I was so happy and I was upset.
Yeah. But over the years, speaking of the Junos and stuff, over the years, they have been criticized for their lack of diversity. Do you think that music authoritative bodies are doing a good job to ensure that Indigenous voices are embedded within their work and are heard?
I definitely think that our indigenous people are now being seen, being heard. Our voices are starting to be heard. But I certainly think that that these awards shows could be doing a much better job, including us a lot more. There's space for everybody, and our music, our people, um, they belong at events like that. You know, I've heard this saying before, and I'm gonna quote Jesus because I think that's where I read it. It's like having an award show in Japan and not having any Japanese artists nominated.
Right, right.
Yes. And if I've quoted the wrong person, then forgive me, but I agree with that because Indigenous people, First Nations people, this is where we come from. We're from Canada. Or, no, we're not from Canada. Canada
Yeah.
is, now located where, our people originate from.
Mhm.
And one thing that I really wanted to say too, while we're talking about this, is, Northern Cree has been in the game for 40 plus years, and I think that the Junos really dropped the ball on. Yeah, I don't. Well, I'm just gonna say it anyway. I think they really dropped the ball a few years ago when the Junos were in Edmonton. I think that Northern Cree should have had an opportunity to perform Northern Cree music on that stage.
Mhm.
My hats off to my hats off to the other artists who were performing
Snotty,
on that
Snotty Nose
on
Rescue.
the. I don't know if Snotty Nose was performing that night in Edmonton a few years back,
Oh, okay, okay.
but
No, 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 not that night. No, okay.
no, no, no. I'm talking about the one in Edmonton. But
Mhm.
anyways, we'll get back on track here, and definitely, I think um, our people need to be included a little bit more, and I think we deserve that. We have
Yeah.
so many talented artists in all genres of music.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I agree. In what ways do you want to see that? Is that just, do you mean like more performances, more Indigenous artists nominated across all categories? In what way would you like to see that?
With that being said, though, I've seen the increase in numbers for indigenous artists who are, but I still feel like it's just not enough. I think there needs to be more inclusive for everybody, for everybody.
Inclusivity is definitely a challenge when navigating the music industry, and especially when your music reflects something that's very specific to your identity, to what resonates most with you. What has been some challenges that you've faced while pursuing the music industry?
I mean, there's been little hurdles here and there.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to think of. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that really want to address, but definitely has been some hurdles here and there. I find that sometimes it's a little bit tougher to get into certain spaces, but the harder, the longer you work at it, you eventually get into those spaces. So, uh, it is what it is. The music industry can be tough sometimes, but it also can be very loving.
Yeah. In what ways have you found it loving?
I found well, I've made quite a few friends over the years, attending certain events, and just running into some of the same faces here and there, feeling the support and the love online, um, you know, uh, things like that.
Yeah. There are people who are trying really, really hard to make sure that across the board the industry is equitable. But then there's like your peers who are just like cool human beings that understand the mission and that are just so supportive. So I totally understand where you're coming from there. Okay, so earlier you were mentioning that your music has been impacting the youth. Yeah. And I know as well that you like to take on the responsibility of making sure that you are a mentor when it comes to music and just educating the youth. So can you talk to us more about what exactly you do as a music mentor and then also why is that work so important to you?
So my wife is here with me too, and she's like, "Well, you mentor me,
Yeah.
since the pandemic, she's really coming out. She's really come out of her shell as well as a singer, and I'm so proud of her. She's a great singer. But going back to the youth, you know, whenever I'm anywhere, on the road, traveling, at a powwow, at a round dance, I sometimes have younger people approach me, and they say, "Hey, I like this song. Hey, I like that song. Hey, how did the words to this song go? Hey, what does this song mean?" And to me, that's I really feel the love, because it tells me in some way, somehow, I've impacted this person in a positive way, and it's kind of like the whole reason why I continue to make music is, uh, when I was younger, I'd go to different events, see too many people my age at that time um, involved singing. There was a few of them, um, not as many as today. Today, you go to an event, for example, and not see 30, 40 people at the drums singing. And it's really, it tells me a lot that, our young people are really interested in wanting to grasp the culture, the songs, the language. And to me, that's very powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is so powerful. And like how does that make you feel too that like they're going to you out of all of the artists out here. They're coming to you.
Well, I'm sure they're making their rounds, but just that they're even bothering to stop and say whatever to me, or ask me whatever question. It really tells me that I'm at an age now where I'm one of the uncles, getting
Yeah.
a little bit older, but it's I want to be able to make that impact on the youth, because I always say this, and I think I've said it a number of times in this live. It's kind of like the reason why I continue to make music is, when I first started being a soloist during the pandemic. My goal was to read at least one person out there. If I can read one person out there in a positive way, then I know as a singer. And over the years, it's really, I've gotten a lot of great feedback, and if there's any more that I can do along the way, then I definitely um, want to know that I'm doing it correctly.
Yeah, yeah, I think you are. I think you are, absolutely. And you're not just impacting one person, you're impacting many people across Turtle Island. Yeah, it's true.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what's next for you?
I've been. I just started working on a new project. I have a few songs recorded. I'm actually gonna experiment a little bit, and I have a few artists that I'm gonna collab with, traditional artists, and recently I want to be able to help our people, any young aspiring artists out there who are, you know, singing traditional music, creating songs, um, love to sing, because when I started, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know nothing. All I knew was how to make songs. I didn't know the first step on recording. What type of equipment do I need? How do I record it? What do I do after I'm done recording it? And I'm still learning. I don't know it all, but I know what I know, and I want to be able to share that. And also, um, what's really sad, no, not sad. What's really a tough pill to swallow is knowing that um, singing with Northern Cree for uh, how many years now? 25 plus years. Um, so Northern Cree's been around 40 plus years, and have about 50 albums to date. And
Yeah.
we only own the latest two albums. We only own the masters on just those ones. You know, it's that's where I think we are talking about music business, music industry a couple questions ago, and the music business can be tough, and I had to find out for myself how to do it, how to everybody should own their own music. I think that's especially, I don't know what the dealings are in other genres of music, but for our traditional artists, you know you should own your own music, especially if you're recording it. You're putting it out there. You're sharing it with your people. Um, no other person should have the rights to owning your music. But I want to be able to help our young people and guide them in that way, where show them how to record, um, mix their music, master it. Put it out there for the people to listen to it, where they can download it on Apple, Spotify, or wherever, um, and I just want to be able to share what little I know about music with our people, because I've said this earlier, we have so many talented young people within our communities across Turtle Island. There's so many talented young people out there, like I go around to different round dances, different powwows, different events, and there's always somebody new, somebody young with a great voice, amazing voice, and sometimes they'll even sing one of their own songs that they composed, and it's just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome that you're able to offer them that opportunity. But you're so right about the music industry. And it's like that across the board. Like, even if you think of mainstream artists like Taylor Swift, she had to redo her masters for like that first album that she put out. And so it's really unfortunate the way that it's constructed. But I do think that wisdom is getting shared across the board about just like how to actually do these things yourself and like make sure you have a SoCal account and like CMRA and like or CMRRA and all of the other good stuff too. So I'm happy that you are also out here educating the people and the youth so that they can maximize on the amount of money essentially they can make off of their music.
Yeah, and from what I know, you don't really make too much off of Spotify anyway, so
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much for blessing us with your presence, hopping on behind the music. We appreciate you.
Thank you for the opportunity, Latoya, and anybody out there who's might catch wind of this. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, at Joel Alex Wood, and check out some of my music available on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, pretty much anywhere where you can download your music.
That's today's episode. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more conversations with artists in Canada.